You may have seen in the news lately that 10 inmates escaped from a jail in New Orleans, Louisiana. Well, weeks later, some of these inmates have still not been caught. Some have been caught, but there are still 2 that are on the loose, y'all. And one of those 2 is claiming that he is innocent and that he was actually let out. Like, some of these parts to this is very weird. I'm not gonna lie. It is now known that one of the escaped inmates purposely clogged the toilet in his cell in an effort to have the water shut off. Now, allegedly, this inmate, Antoine Massey, told a maintenance worker, Sterling Williams, to shut the water off or he would be sorry. That's what's being said. However, Sterling's attorney has said that when Sterling arrived on the pod that day, that a deputy informed him that the toilet was overflowing, not because he was asked to. So allegedly, the story that's now going around is the guy Sterling says, wait a minute, I turned it off because the staff member told me to go take a look at it and it was clogged, so I turned it off. Not because I was threatened. Then at 10:30 p.m. on May 15th, the jail was locked down like it usually is. However, there was no sheriff's deputy assigned to that part of the jail where the escaped inmates were housed. There was just a civilian worker that was monitoring the area, and at around 12:20 a.m., that person briefly stepped away to get food. At 12:22 a.m., a surveillance camera captured several inmates out of their cells. Now, they're supposed to be locked in their cells, but somehow they got out of their cells and they were forcing open another cell's sliding door. Multiple inmates had entered another cell that they had been trying to get into for the past 20 minutes. Now, once they got in, the inmates removed the sink toilet combination thing, that's attached to the wall, and they started to dig out a hole into the wall. They even sawed through the steel bars that were behind the toilet sink combo. And then, y'all, this is the part that had me hollering. After they sawed this hole through the wall, they left graffiti that said, "Too easy, LOL, we innocent." And I shouldn't be laughing about that, but y'all, but they put "Too easy, LOL, we innocent." Oh my gosh, if anyone has seen the show Prison Break, it sounds very similar to something that has happened on that show. At 1 a.m., a surveillance camera captured the group of guys running out of the building through a loading dock. Then, when they went down this other road towards a new part of the jail that's still under construction, they were caught on camera again. The group was seen climbing a fence using blankets to protect themselves from the barbed wire, and then a traffic camera captured the group running across Interstate 10 and entering a nearby neighborhood. Now get this, if all of that wasn't wild enough, it wasn't until 8:30 a.m., y'all, that the inmates that escaped were discovered that they were gone during the next morning routine head count. Oh yeah, all the way till 8:30 a.m., honey. Them inmates could have been in Timbuktu. They could have been anywhere they wanted to be. In that many hours, they could have been multiple states away. Multiple law enforcement agencies immediately began their manhunt, looking to capture all 10 inmates quickly as possible. That leaves us with the last 2 inmates that are currently still on the run. This is 33-year-old Antoine Massey and 28-year-old Derek Groves. Antoine, this is the one that if you've heard anything about this, you've probably seen him all over the news and the media. He was in jail facing theft and DV charges. However, he was also wanted in a different parish for and for R-word charges. Now, the other guy, Derek, has actually been convicted of 2 charges of second degree and 2 charges of attempted for an incident back in 2018. So he actually was convicted. Antoine is now being investigated for seemingly posting a now deleted video or videos of himself on Instagram. He claims he did not escape. He said he was let out, and that he did not commit the crimes that he had been in jail for.
They said that I broke out. I didn't break out. I was let out.
In the video, Antoine also claimed that Sterling, the one that allegedly shut the water off, that he lied. Antoine said that he never threatened Sterling.
Orleans Parish is one of the corruptedest jails. That and St. Tammany Parish is the corruptedest jails in the state of Louisiana.
Now, during this time, Antoine also was basically like reaching out, asking for help from a lot of famous people like Meek Mill, Lil Wayne, Youngboy, and even the president. Now, the Louisiana State Police have declined to verify the authenticity of this video, but I mean, when you look at the pictures of him, you see the video. To me, in my unprofessional opinion, it looks like him to me. Sterling Williams, again, that maintenance worker, has since been arrested himself for the role that he played in the escape. But authorities say that Sterling admitted that he turned the water off in that cell because he was asked to. Sterling, through his attorney, is still maintaining his innocence. He says that he's being used as a scapegoat. And from what I know right now, I do kind of think so. If the toilet was overflowing, no matter whose fault it was, and he's a maintenance worker, and he's asked to check on it, and he turns the water off, okay, where's the police? Where's the officers? Where's the COs? Where's the deputies? The whole time where these guys were, why wasn't the door locked? How'd they open the door? Then how'd they shimmy the other door open? How'd they remove, and how did they know that was the toilet to remove? Because otherwise they could have just removed their own toilets. They knew the way out some way, somehow. Then they removed the toilet. They had all that time to saw through the pipes, leave a little message, you know, too easy, LOL, we innocent. Go past all the cameras. Y'all ain't got no security guards watching the cameras to see a bunch of inmates. I think he's a scapegoat too. However, a total of 15 people have been charged with helping the escapees during their escape. 3 jail employees have been suspended without pay. I need more on that though, because something's not adding up to me, y'all. Something's not right. Investigators have since raided the home that they believe that Antoine filmed those videos in after they received a tip from a family member. Now, Antoine was not there, but investigators found clothes belonging to him there. Now, mind you, too, his mother, who according to his aunt, allegedly just got out, I believe, of jail or prison herself, and she's been online begging him to turn himself in. His aunt's been begging him to turn himself in, and I don't know what's going on with the family behind the scenes, if the police are really putting pressure on them or messing with them or what, but they have been begging him to turn himself in. Now, law enforcement is now offering a $50,000 reward for tips leading to the captures of the 2 remaining escapees, Antoine and Derek. And I just got to say that this ain't the 60s, the 70s, and the 80s, okay? Back then, that whole no snitching thing and whatever, baby, $50,000 on the line, people's going to tell on you, okay? As soon as they see you, they're going to be calling Crime Stoppers. And so they probably not going to be gone for too long. I think for the victims, especially for Derek's victims, because he has indeed been convicted, I can't imagine what they're feeling right now. Maybe they're scared. I hope that they're safe. I don't know the whole situation of his case, but he was convicted. And I'm interested to see what all is going to go on with this Antoine situation too. This jail has had quite a few issues in the past as well, and reportedly mostly caused from lack of monitoring by the deputies. In August of 2005, when Hurricane Katrina was barreling down on New Orleans, the jail staff completely abandoned the jail, leaving 650 inmates locked in their cells with no access to food, water, or any kind of ventilation for days on end. These are people that have not been found guilty yet, have not gone to trial. It could be innocent people that are in there. And there was no official death count that was ever reported. Imagine that. But according to a human rights group, 517 inmates were later registered as unaccounted for. Never could find 517 people. The sheriff, however, has taken public accountability. She's been asking local officials for years for money to fund upgrading facility locks on these cell doors. And I do like her statement. I'm not going to lie. Do I think some mistakes were made? Yes. It was raining, bad choices, mistakes, or conspiracy theories here, okay? I mean, so many. We could just pick our hand in a bucket and pick out a million different mistakes. You guys, this wasn't one thing. It's not like it was one guard that maybe got jumped, they took the keys and they escaped. All of this really happened Something seems weird, y'all. Something's going on.